In the news this week, dire straits, young people struggling, low finances and domestic violence as COVID-19 takes hold.
Hold close in crisis, how Western Australians are changing the way we celebrate this Easter.
Furry with the fireys, fire trucks help the Easter bunnies, bringing holiday magic to Perth kids.
And on Western Perspective, an exclusive on the missed opportunities and the future of local community television. Plus, Dr. Andrew Miller's weekly social media commentary.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Learn and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. Young people in WA are doing it tough during the coronavirus crisis, struggling after being left out in the cold by support measures and lockdown restrictions. Some are in dire straits after missing out on financial help, but stories have emerged of rising domestic violence while in isolation. Nelson Liu talked with Youth Future's WA CEO Mark Waite in this exclusive interview.
I can imagine that because of COVID-19, the impact is a lot more harsher than it would normally be.
Absolutely. I mean, these are young people that are doing it tough already. I don't think the government really understands how much of an impact, locking somebody up in their house is going to have, particularly for those young people that live in houses where there's domestic violence, abuse and those sorts of things.
Now, with regards to the job seeker and job keeper payments, there's obviously a lot of young people that have been left out in the cold. What's happened to them?
They have huge loss in income, and particularly, again, if it has impacted on parents. So there's a reduction in the family general income and then also in their income.
You talked about domestic violence. What's the situation with young people who are stuck in that situation, particularly now that we have a pandemic? At this point in time, they're being required to stay at home. And we know that the rates of domestic violence and abuse and those sorts of things will increase because young people are stuck in those vulnerable environments and they won't have anywhere else to go. We think that young people are going to need some extra support. What's your message to both state and governments following COVID-19? Talk to us. Come and talk to organisations that are seeing this firsthand with young people. Talk to us about possible strategies and remember that young people have specific needs. We know that they don't vote and we know that they get neglected because of that, but remember they will be voters one day and you need to be able to stand up and say we took care of these young people during this hard time.
Even a worldwide crisis and stringent social isolation measures could not stop Easter from coming this year. Video streaming technology has enabled Australians from across the community to keep their Easter traditions in a new way. Helene Fung takes a look at the good, the bad and how they change the holiday.
The coronavirus shutdown has closed churches right across the state, just in time for the biggest event of the year. Many churches have started posting recorded services online to plug the gap, but it's taking some adjustments.
People can feel a little distant. It's more like I'm watching rather than I'm actually participating.
But Peter says that despite the challenges, not being able to meet on Sundays has actually made church members more likely to reach out to each other more.
Church is actually not what happens in the building. The church is actually the body of God's people.
People with no religious affiliations are also finding the same challenges. Jordan Fife usually goes to stay at her parents' place for Easter, but this year they're going virtual.
Me and the family are going to do a video chat and open our Easter eggs.
She says it's made her keep in better contact with people too.
Going to have Easter drinks with some friends online, and one of those friends lives in Japan, and usually I just wouldn't have drinks with him, but because we're all doing it online, I'm actually seeing him more often.
Helene Fong, WAMN News.
WA Police have complimented members of the public who have attended Perth beaches during the first day of Easter. A spokesperson from the force says the majority of public have stuck with appropriate social distancing rules, which was helped by members of the community who've decided to remain at home to avoid overcrowding on our beaches. Although the efforts are commendable, police remind the public that it's not a time for complacency and urged people to restrict themselves to essential travel only. The message is, if you must go to the beach, have a swim, but don't stay there. Go back home.
Cases of COVID-19 in the state continue to slow as quarantine finishes for passengers from the Vasco da Gama cruise ship. Those quarantined on Rottnest were ferried off the island on Friday, and passengers from interstate will return home when flights become available. WA Health Minister Roger Cook said that the downward trend in new cases was not a reason to ease off isolation measures, but he said that the numbers were incredibly encouraging.
You know, when a diet's starting to work, you don't go back to the fridge in the pantry. When a diet's starting to work, you actually make sure you focus even more. And that's the opportunity we have this Easter.
WA Police will bolster its frontline with new measures to strengthen its response during the COVID-19 pandemic. A $91 million policing package has been introduced for 150 new police recruits, 100 mobile automatic number plate recognition cameras, and expansion of tracking and tracing capabilities. The state government says the package will ensure people obey WA's state of emergency powers.
So I welcome all these things. Our Premier's been doing a fantastic job. The Expenditure Review Committee's been meeting regularly, and I'm delighted that we're able to give police the extra frontline resource that it needs.
Number 10 Downing Street has confirmed that British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has left the intensive care unit after spending 3 days in the unit with COVID-19. According to a statement released by his office, Mr Johnson is in extremely good spirits and will be receiving close monitoring during the early phases of his recovery. The British government has urged the public to follow the social distancing rules during Easter and at the same time is looking at extending the country's lockdown period. Joe Biden is one step closer to becoming the Democrats' presidential nominee, with his main competitor, Senator Bernie Sanders, announcing the suspension of his campaign for the White House. In a video statement, Mr Sanders has concluded that his battle for the nomination won't be successful. During his campaign, Bernie pushed for universal healthcare and a $15 an hour minimum wage.
The Easter Bunnies teamed up with a group of fireys this weekend to bring some joy to the city of Gosnells. A fleet of 5 fire trucks spent all day driving through every street in the city, delivering chocolate eggs and small gifts to local kids. The fire trucks played their siren to let kids know they arrived before delivering the gifts to families waiting in their driveways. The event was part of the city's Home But Not Alone initiative, a series of online and interactive events dedicated to boosting community kindness and bringing people together.
As a matter of fact, it's a special reason because a 9-year-old girl from Thornley who wrote to the Premier, Tiana, and one of my fellow councillors actually knows who they are, it's all about what can we do. So we got on the idea, our City of Gosnells staff come up with the idea, let's do something extra special for them. Hence the exemption, extra special, City of Gosnells, our people. It's a great thing to do. Something we can give back, Ivan.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website and social media pages.
Until next Sunday evening, look after yourselves, stay at home and have a pleasant evening.
Take care.